Greetings, the internet. Let's talk about Toy Story. The Toy Story franchise is considered to be one of the most recognizable franchises in the field of animation, as the franchise is known for a lot of things, like being the star of the legendary Pixar studio, the star of fully CGI films. In fact, CGI anime films have pretty much overshadowed every other animation media there is, and many of their films are considered to be one of the most beloved animated films of all times. I've talked about the Toy Stories before, both in my complete history video. In my complete history video, my best anime feature ranking when I did Toy Story 3 and 4, and that Toy Story of Terror review I did last month. So what movie should I review in the franchise? That's easy, the one that I grew up on, Toy Story 2. I used to watch this film all the time when I was very young, as I owned the film on VHS, and I can't wait to revisit this toy box. In Toy Story 2, Andy's off to summer camp, but accidentally breaks Woody, his toy cowboy's, arm, meaning that he can't take him to camp. Woody fears that Andy will throw him away. Suddenly, Woody tried to save another toy named Wheezy from a yard sale, but it ended up in there himself and gets taken by a toy collector named Al. As it turns out that Woody is part of a franchise called Woody's Roundup, where he meets Jessie the Yodeling Cowgirl, Trusty Bullseye, Stinky Pete the Prospector, and Stinky Pete the Prospector. Meanwhile, Andy's other toys, Buzz Lightyear, Hand the Piggy Bank, Slinky Dog, Rex the Dinosaur, and Cranky Mr. Potato Head, are going on a quest to save Woody. However, Woody may have some second thoughts on leaving the place. The first Toy Story was a really great movie, and a really great start to both Pixar and CGI films in general. Toy Story 2, on the other hand, oh boy, this is the prime example of a masterpiece. A film that has a lot of things going for it. It's funny, emotional, action-packed, fun, exciting, heartwarming, charming. There's no such words describing this classic. There are so many quotable lines and recognizable moments in this movie, like the video game opening, the nightmare scene that still gives me goosebumps, the Woody's Roundup song, etc. I can quote this film a lot in this. I can quote a lot in this film and never get tired of it. The film works perfectly as a sequel, as it not only expands on the world with new locations and new characters that fit well in the world it's in, but also on how it evolves on the old characters, especially Woody, as we learn that he's part of a forgotten franchise that was sadly cut short due to space stuff being popular. I found his story to be both very interesting but also sad, with his fear that he will be forgotten one day and having his arm teared, and seeing being preserved in the museum in Japan is the only way that he'll last forever and still turn out okay. It can lead to some real introspective drama that can make people think. As the film goes on, Woody learns that it's better to be alive with those around you that care about you no matter what. Kind of reminds me of Puss's arc in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, another great animated sequel that I talked about before. And I just love the sense of camaraderie in this film. You can tell that these toys truly care about one another. Sure, they can have some disagreements and may tease each other, but they always come around for each other to help out their friends, which makes their journey to rescue Woody both very inspiring and quite sweet. Speaking of which, the journey aspect of the film is a lot of fun, as it manages to be both thrilling, sometimes intense, and even funny at times. A great contrast to Woody's more quiet and heartfelt story. The characters for this film are fantastic. The old characters are still as charming and funny as they were in the first, with Woody and Buzz getting some character evolution, with Buzz being more open to the world around him rather than be delusional like in the first film, while the new characters help breathe new life, with Jessie being both a lovable character with a big heart, but also one you'll feel for because of how she was abandoned. And then there are the villains of the movie. First, you got Al of Al's Toy Barn. He's the type of guy you just love to hate because of the fact he basically stole a child's toy for money, but he's also hilarious at the same time. Then you got Stinky Pete. Well, at first he does seem like a pleasant being, but it turns out that he's actually a shady being who wants to force his way to be a museum icon. I have to say that Stinky Pete is one of the better twist villains because there's some foreshadowing in this dialogue, so when the comes out, we buy that he is a bad toy. Take note, Walt Disney Animation Studios. The film thankfully doesn't take itself too seriously, as the film is also a comedy, and thankfully the movie is hilarious as heck, with many of the jokes being smart and witty. I especially love that traffic scene. That always cracked me up. The animation for the sequel has quite improved from the first, and surprisingly holds up very well, especially on the human characters who look a lot more easier on the eyes compared to the creepy goblins in the first one. I also have to give major props to Randy Newman's score, as this music is easily some of the best in an animated film, and that song, When Somebody Loved Me, total tearjerker. So yeah, this film is a masterpiece. It's funny, beautiful, emotional, action-packed. It's everything you want in a film and some. This easily gets a 10 out of 10, or maybe even an 11 out of 10. Watch this film for yourself. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you all next time. Woo!